When the new Nintendo Direct was playing, I don't think any of us were expecting this. Nintendo's suddenly talking about physical and digital games. What on earth is this, thought me and probably a lot of other people. Well, it's all about making digital games more enticing, if not more enticing than physical games. I'm Felix from Nintendo Life, and I'll be taking you through what exactly this sharing games digital feature Nintendo's introducing in late April is. So, the main use cases that they bring up is two things. One, to play games on multiple different consoles. Let's say you have a Switch and a Switch Lite. Well, before there was the system of having a primary console and also a secondary one. One of them had to, check on the Nintendo all the times. It was a bit clunky. Well, this essentially makes it a bit easier to do that. I'll go into detail exactly how this works. And the second use case is to lend or borrow digital games. That is actually a big thing why physical games is superior, at least at the moment. You can just lend a game to a friend and it's really nice. Couldn't do that properly with the digital games. Or you could set up the secondary console, but you can only do that with one. Yeah, here you can lend games to family members, and I'll also go into detail how that exactly works. Let's start with the first use case. Essentially, your digital games will now function as how physical games work. So you have a new menu where you can see all your games. We don't know if it's only Nintendo games. Right now, they've only showed Nintendo games, so maybe it's only Nintendo games. I guess we'll see. But in here, you can see all your digital games, but they work like cartridges, so you can insert it into your original Switch. Then you can take your other Switch, you can exit it out of your main console, you can insert it in your other Switch. I think that's honestly really, really cool. Now, it does say an internet connection is required only when loading or ejecting. So yeah, you won't be completely freed of an internet connection. I guess that's so you can't just inject them on both consoles at the same time. But yeah, personally, I think that's pretty cool. You will also need to have local communications to the two Switches. Only the first time though, which I'd imagine you'd already have, but it's just worth noting that is the case. They don't really talk about how the internet function works, but as we see here, you can have some games on one Switch and some on the other. But I think the coolest use case of this, and that is the second thing, that you can lend out games to your friends and family. Now, you do need to be part of the same family group. Up to 8 people can be like this, but this is awesome. So depending on who is in your family group, you could say, hey, I want to lend you Mario Odyssey. My brother has never played it and I have it digitally. Well, I can give him almost like a license. So you lend it to the account and then, well, you can't play it in that time frame. But after 14 days, you'll get the game again. Now, imagine you can just give it again for 14 days. But this is so that if you lend it to a friend or family and they don't want to give it back to you somehow, well, they have a solution for that. So it only works with local wireless, which I know will be a shame for many. Maybe you have friends and family that live abroad and you don't see them that very often. Well, yeah, it won't really work. I think this is mostly intended for friends you see in a day-to-day basis. You can bring your Switch along, or, if you live in a house with multiple different family members. But still, really, really cool that Nintendo is doing this. I think this is very consumer-friendly of Nintendo. I did not expect Nintendo to do this. You can even lend out multiple different games, not to the same person, but let's say you have 3 friends and they all bring their Switches. Well, you can lend out, as seen on the picture here, Pikmin 4, Splatoon 3, or Mario Wonder, and they can have it for 14 days, see what the game is about, and then you can lend it again to them if they want to keep on playing. I will also just want to highlight the Miis. They're still here, they're still kicking. We also did see Tomodachi Life, where we also saw the Miis. By the way, amazing announcement. But that is essentially it. That is the new virtual game card system that Nintendo has just announced. It's a feature that's going to come in late April, and it's also going to be available with Switch 2. So that is extremely, extremely exciting. We'll have a video guide on how exactly it works when it comes out, but that is all the information they really gave. What do you think of this whole feature? Well, let us know down in the comments below. I personally think it is very scrumptious. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you lend your friends that subscribe button for 14 days, and then you'll get it back fully subscribed if they've played the game correctly. And also don't forget to check out our website, NintendoLife.com, for all sorts of Nintendo-related content. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix from Nintendo Life, out. And if anyone asks, yes, I am a Barcelona fan.